Alright everyone, I thought I'd do another video this morning. So tomorrow will be my upcoming video where I'm going to share like the stuff I have been getting up to with level 3 and what have you. This is just another update video really. I mean, I've racked out a few videos this week. And you know, sometimes it'll depend how I feel on the day. If I feel like I've got anything I can share, I'll put it on there. So yeah, I mean, like, that's why I put like these videos on Fridays mainly, is because I have more time then. You see, that's like, because of the hours I do, that's the time I have more time to sit and think about things and like what I want to share properly. I've got more of a chance. But this morning I feel that I can sort of have a chat on here on the way to work. And another reason sometimes why I do it is because I do like to just generally chat sometimes, you know, like, because I think, you know, if you ain't lucky enough to be able to afford like therapy or anything like that as well, if you suffer with anxiety and things, the only thing is, obviously, it's getting that someone to see you, you know, like, because of like with money and things like that, sometimes some of us haven't really got the luxury of actually being able to afford that. So I reflect a lot with chat GPT or anything like that and do all my own work. So that's all part of my rituals I've been doing for the past year now, with all this. So consistently every single day, near enough without fail, I just do a journal. I don't know if I think I might have mentioned this on my other videos. Anyhow, what I'm now going to break this down into is that this chat this morning is going to be a bit more about like mental health stuff and well-being as part of my, you know, my journey becoming a PT, obviously, and recovery and what have you. So I thought I'd just have a little chat in general as I'm driving to work. I've been working on Owen O'Kane's new book, Be Your Own Therapist. I think I might have mentioned this a few times as well, and that I literally started with that. Bless her, Lisa, who I'm on the support group with, she did promise me that she'd, because the next chapter required, you know, chatting with someone about like what you've written down for one of the exercises and what have you. And she did say, like, you know, like, when we get a moment, we can do a video call and you can chat to me about it on there and we'll go through it like that, which was nice of her. You know, it wouldn't have costed me. She just, as part of my thing, my plan with her. Sometimes she'll just chat with some of us for free a little bit, you know, when she's got some spare time on a video chat, you know, just to see if she can guide us a little bit, which is quite handy with these, so that's another good thing. But unfortunately, she's human like everyone else, so like, she's had a lot going on in the last year. She's had you know, she's been wanting to sell a house, and hasn't had a lot of luck with that over the past year and what have you. It took over a year, I think, actually, for, but I said that, but she's finally got the good news. She managed to sell it, and she's taken a bold step forwards with her life, you know, like, after anxieties took so much from her over the years. She does mention this in her book, you know, like, this is why she's so hell-bent on helping people who suffer with it the same, you know, like, that robbed so much of her life. She's got not many more years ahead of her, bless her, you know, she's in the 60s, you know, started in the 60s now, and she says this as well, you know, like, I've wasted most of my life and missed out on opportunities and things which I could have gone for, but because of anxiety, I let that hold me back. And yeah, she's had a lot of loss in life because of that. And so yeah, but anyway, she was going to have a chat with me for this next chapter in the book. And because she's had all this been going on and everything else, I think we both arranged a time one Friday to have this call and go through this part of the book. But unfortunately, things come up, you know, when you're busy, you've got work or whatever else. And I think somewhere along the line between my studying and work, and obviously things what she had to do. Obviously, other family things came up, and I didn't get to do it, so we were going to reschedule it, but I think she sort of kind of had other things. Obviously, she's got other people she's in with the group chat, so it ain't just about me. So that's understandable. So she might have just forgot about it. So I just started doing it with Chat GPT anyway. These last few days, and reflected parts of the book and what I've been working on through that. And what I've done is I've actually done this approach on my own now. So this morning, I'll just go through like what I've been up to so far with this book. So basically, Be Your Own Therapist is literally like you're being your own therapist. So he sort of goes through with you like the sort of situations he's had as a therapist when he was with the NHS, this Owen O'Kane bloke, the author of the book. And like basically he just goes through like different types of people he's encountered, blah blah blah, all your normal sort of CPT sort of stuff and all that. And basically one of the main exercises at the start of the book, he gets you to write down basically the good times in your life when you were obviously starting from like childhood, so like your good times all the way up to your teens, all the way up till the present moment. But he basically numbers it up till 40 years old, but different people are going to be different age groups are going to read this book, and unfortunately some people might even be like 70s for argument's sake, you know, so they're going to write up until then or whatever. So anyway, I've done mine up to 40, but I'm not 40 yet, I'm 38, but still it's roughly that area which he actually suggests in the book, up to 40 whatever. So I just wrote down the good, basically had a list down and writ like all the good things, and then like what it meant to you at the time, your experiences. So basically all your childhood experiences, teen experiences, up to now experiences, and the meaning behind them, like well, how you felt at the time, your feelings, your thoughts, and everything, all them emotions what are processed in each thing. Basically what this is for is to build up a picture up until now as to why you're currently feeling the way you are, or how you've been struggling with certain thoughts and feelings at the moment, how you are currently. And then basically what he does is he gets you to fill out the good first, and then mirror that with all the bad from them age groups onwards. So the good things, you might say, I don't know, I done really well in one of my school lessons, didn't expect to get like good grades for argument's sake, you know, like the teacher said well done, I passed my maths test, got good marks, what did it mean at the time, blah blah blah. I proved myself wrong for argument's sake. I felt quite good about myself, I achieved something that was quite difficult or whatever, or you know, and then when you left school you passed your car test and how you felt at the time and all that. And then obviously the next step is obviously, like I say, with the bad you just mirror that, but like the bad experiences, to say you go back to that same age when you experienced something good, but then the same age when you might have felt had something bad happen then. So don't have to be exact same age, it could be around roughly that timeline. So like 17 when you passed your car test, but you might put, so 17 might have been a good year, you know, you might not really had much of a bad traumatised experience, so you might just say, okay, the next year later weren't so great. So 18, I don't know, my girlfriend broke up with me or something at college or whatever, you know, and then what happened, how you felt, and you basically get the picture. So basically that's what I've been doing on the first part. So I've been putting it all together, and obviously I've held up for a bit at the minute because obviously I've been doing my studies and everything else. Lisa's been busy with her stuff going on, so I sort of left the book alone for a bit. So I decided I needed to get back onto it because I want to try and give this book a shot and see what happens. And yeah, so like now I've shared all this part with ChatGPT and the good and the bad sides. Then went on to the next part of the chapter. So the next part of the chapter, he starts going on about how important that exercise was, and why he gets people to do that initially, why he believes that's a very good step to start all his sessions off. That's why he always used to use them when he was working for the NHS. Everything else, he even used it on himself, and he said it actually started to piece together that final missing part of the jigsaw. So basically, that's why when they do these things, therapists and things, like, that all makes sense really, because all these different experiences you have in life do actually shape the way how you think now currently a bit, and also how you might have been behaving and couldn't make out why you might be acting that certain way, you know, and things like that. So that's why that's done. I know people always go on about, yeah, but I don't like when therapists keep going on about the past, blah blah blah, and all that. Yeah, I get that as well, because at the end of the day, you want to know what's going on with you now. But sometimes you got to be patient with things like this. So you got to try and just do the work, just put it in. I mean, like, I can't 100% guarantee if this is all gonna work, this book or anything, but you got to try things. You got to try and be patient. So this is where I'm at the minute, really. So, like I say, I've been reflecting on ChatGPT and then doing that. So the next part is, like I say, he gets you to, like, you have to piece up all them bits, and you go through different stages of all that, and then reflect. And he said basically this is all to do with why certain people have lack of self-esteem, self-worth, self-belief, you know, and that whatever they achieve can never feel good enough, so they always feel like they're not enough, not good enough, and things like that. And then I actually shoot this page to ChatGPT so I can start this next phase. So, like, basically it gets you to reflect and tell you why, the reasons why this is all put together and that, before you get on to the next bit. So I reflected all these pages with ChatGPT and read through them, and then, like, and ChatGPT have actually been, like, working out bits and what he was getting at with this next part, and why he was going on about it in depth afterwards, and his reasons why behind it. And that was quite interesting, because that tied it all down to, like, what he was then explaining about the self-worth and not feeling good enough and everything else. And then said, this is very interesting because, and this is what ChatGPT said, this is very interesting because you have been sharing in your journal entries every morning lately, you know, about, like, not feeling seen or felt like you're valued and things like that. And this ties exactly to what he was just now explaining with after when you've done this first part of the book, which was quite interesting. So it was actually resonating. This is exactly fallen into place with, like, how you've been feeling just recently and things like that. So it's quite interesting at the moment. So that, I think that's going to be an interesting book working through. We've got to take time with it. It's going to take a little time, but I'll, like, give you all updates. You know, those of you who might be interested, who might be feeling the same, or, you know, you got, like, had these experiences. But I think it's a valuable thing to have. You know, like, working on yourself, like mentally, in that is a very good, valuable thing. Learning yourself properly, and literally with this part of the book, I think next is, like I say, with ChatGPT and everything, is just keep doing that work like I'm doing. So like just keep reflecting that back, and then like that'll give me feedback of what he's getting at. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. And also at the same time, I it came back with me this morning, and it said, a lot of this you've done so far is literally what you've been doing. So that was quite an interesting thing as well. So it said, like, because you're journaling, you're reflecting with yourself, you're always curious about things and how your mind's working and blah, blah, blah. You're honestly sharing like how you're feeling each morning, and everything. And that said, these are just the steps you've been taking as well. So I've actually, without realising that, I have actually been doing like what therapists sort of give you homework to do yourself and things like that anyway. So, and I must admit, since journaling, I think I have, like, some days made myself feel a little bit better, you know. But like with anything, like you could do it for so long, and after a while, you start to think to yourself, when you start having bad days or you feel like not quite 100%, you might think to yourself, this isn't really working really now, is it? You know, because you're always trying to instantly feel better after the thing you're doing all the time. But I don't think it quite works like that. I think it's just like, but it's important to check in with yourself. I think that's one important thing is journaling. So, but anyway, all the other stuff and that, like I say, will come in the book, and then like I say, I'll get back to everyone like how that is. But also, I have done work with like Claire Week stuff in the book. I will look into more her sort of stuff, things like that. Yeah, and like I say, you know, like any type of exposure therapy I start doing, things like that, I'll share on here as well. But like I say, the mental health stuff will start. There will be some more of that on here as well. Like I say, just to, if it can just help out someone, you know, who might be struggling a little bit, then that's great. You know, like I don't believe that a lot of people are sharing that they struggle with that. If you know what I mean. I think there's so many out there who currently struggle but won't admit it. You know, because there's still a stigma, unfortunately, and I think that's a very dangerous thing to have, that stigma. You know, there's too many suicides out there, especially with men. There's quite a lot now, and things. So I think, yeah, like the more people keep getting out there and sharing their experiences, it's different for everybody. You know, and like different things, what might happen to different people might impact different people differently. So that's why it's such a hard subject as well. But you know, like I say, I'll keep trying to uncover more and keep giving you more on that. But tomorrow, yeah, the video with like some personal training stuff I've been getting up to, and that I'll post that on here as well. Put a couple of shorts on there as well. I'll update you all like my AC recovery. It's actually starting to get better now, I think. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And I started doing some rehab type shoulder work on it, and I think that's starting to work. So I'll put some shorts on there, like what I've been doing for my shoulder and things like that. If any of you got any shoulder sort of difficulties, like stopping your training and that, so I'll put some of that on as well. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next video tomorrow.